Hello and welcome to the Modern Mystic radio show on A1R Psychic Radio, the world's #1 psychic radio network. So I hope you're having a really good evening, a really good day today. I have got a special guest with me who I'm really looking forward to introducing. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, but before I do, just going to remind you of how you can get in contact with me should you want a private reading with myself. You can do that through the website, which is www.modern-mystic.co.uk, or on my Facebook page, which is Mystic Saira, or also Modern Mystic as well. So I have 2 Facebook pages. Okay, so I'm going to introduce my guest. Now, this person is very unusual. She is a celestial oracle. She is also an interdimensional channel, and she is an ascension coach. So to find out all about that and what that means, let me introduce the wonderful Stephanie Ark Hogarth. Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Hi, I'm delighted to be here. Thanks so much.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Now, tell us a little bit about each term that I've used. So let's start with, what is a celestial oracle?
I think of myself more as a pipe. It's like I open myself up to channel the same way an artist will when we bring in whatever it is we bring in. I actually am an artist. I was an artist first. I've always been some sort of a channel for spirit and whatever comes through. I really have learned that I can travel interdimensionally, but when I'm here, I'm really just a pipe, and I don't control any of it. Whatever comes through, comes through. And what I do when I say that I'm an ascension coach, I basically help people learn how to navigate the ladder up in dimensions, because most people start off very three-dimensional. We're conditioned that way. And as the planet is ascending in vibration, the rules change with every level that you go to. The rules are completely different. And you need to, I'm kind of a really good navigational system. So mostly what I do is, when I say I'm an interdimensional channel, I work with all of the strata, and I have found that I have the ability to dial my awareness up the level, up the many layers of different vibrational strata, and bring everything communicates differently. So one of the things that I try to do is communicate or speak on behalf of whatever level is trying to communicate. So, you know how witches used to work with familiars? I navigate energy, and I'm very much unlike a traditional psychic, so that if somebody calls and says, you know, where did I leave my ring, or is my boyfriend going to bring me? I'm going to have no idea, because I don't tend to pull my information from that level. But if you're lost, this is a weird example, but like if your lost cat had to get a message to you, they would probably use me. It's like the information only comes through me in one direction, and I just don't control any of it. I don't get to pick and choose what comes through. I just say, okay, you know, let her rip. And but I am a very good navigator if you want to go up.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the whole term of ascension. So for somebody that's listening into the show and they've never come across that term before, just explain a little bit about what that means.
Oh, boy. If you have not heard the term ascension before, are you in for a treat? The planet, without getting too technical, this ascension is something that is affecting the entire globe. If you want to know why everything in the world has gone batshit crazy, this is because of ascension. Our planet is going through a portion of the galaxy where it's the energy that our planet is going through, our entire solar system actually, is extremely high vibrational. And what that means is that the lower vibrations can't exist. They can't coexist. So everything that's lower vibrational is being zapped, and it can't exist anymore. So all darkness, all everything in the third dimension, it won't be able to, it's basically the three-dimensional. That doesn't mean it's anything to worry about. We're actually, we're going into a higher level of consciousness, a higher level of awareness. When more light comes in, with higher vibrations comes the density that prevented a lot of light from traveling. Everything is getting looser and lighter and freer, emphasis on freedom. So as more light comes in, light is information. So light and data all come in at the same time. So a lot of things are going to be universally experienced. We're shedding as a planet. We're shedding density. We're shedding illusions. Everything that the third dimensional, all the paradigms, conditioning, social constructs, our belief systems, every single kind of social constructs that were rigidly held in place, all of that is being demolished. And that can be really terrifying for people who are conditioned to believe or think of that as being security. So my job as a Ascension coach is to say, I understand that all these structures are disappearing and it can seem really terrifying. That doesn't mean that you're not safe. You're just going to be held a different way. I'm going to take this lizard off of me for a second. I always work with animals. She's right now there's a theme going on of balancing of polarities. So that's why I've got a bird on my shoulder and a lizard. So one goes high and one goes low. And I'm going to keep my hand on the lizard, but I don't want it to have to hold it. But there's I should say that one of the things that I do that is very, very different from most psychics, but it's very common in Ascension coaches and everyone who works in a five-dimensional and higher strata, is that we deliver energetic transmissions that will affect always and be dominant. They will be the dominant vibrational. Sorry, I'm losing linear language. When the energies come down, one of the first things to go is linear language. That doesn't mean that you're not getting a transmission. It just means you don't understand it consciously. Or your viewers don't. You probably do. At any rate, I deliver an energetic frequency that has an effect whether you can see it or not. So in the third dimension, and actually all the dimensions, we are unable to see or have an awareness necessarily of the higher dimensions. We can see our eye level and beneath us, but we can't see anything above us. When you ascend in vibrational frequency, your awareness goes up, and you still are unable to see what's above you, but you suddenly have an awareness, a much higher awareness of everything beneath you, and you see, oh, I see I was in a matrix. I see I was in a belief system that sucked. It's 444, by the way. One of the things that happens when you go up into higher dimensions is that you gain many, many skills, and everybody who's in the fifth dimension and higher has these same things. For one thing, we communicate using numbers. We communicate telepathically. We communicate in all sorts of ways that are nonlinear, and it's in some ways, most ways, almost always, it's very much easier to communicate in higher dimensions, because you kind of beam each other balls of thought that are cohesive, and there's room for misunderstanding. But it's a hard thing to harmonize with linear language, because in linearity, you understand it, in linearity, it's like reading, where everything is spelled out and you get one little bit at a time, and it's all linear, and that's toward a purpose, and it all exists for a reason. So I'm not knocking it, but I am saying that the time where that was dominant on Earth is over. We're not going to be able to keep it. We're not going to be able to bring it back or maintain it at all. So really, when we're looking at like the whole Ascension process here, I mean, my understanding is that, we're all kind of evolving and awakening and all of that. So if somebody was struggling with that awakening and they didn't know what to do with it, and if somebody was perhaps, things in their life, things that they were, taking that leap of faith and becoming, in one's own power, this is kind of the thing that people would come to you with. Is that right? Yes, you said it. You said it. I do. Yes, you're absolutely right, though. So, and one of the ways that I help them is by delivering the energetic transmission that simply allows them to do it. It's less about coaching somebody through it and telling them what they have to do. There's a certain degree of just sheer, like, okay, I'll help you. And my energy will dominate their energy. And I'll say, okay, I'm going up, and I'll kind of link with them, and I'll just do it. And then they'll be like, oh, I feel better. It's easier on them. It's actually kind of easier on all of us, because I don't like to go down into linearity. It's too much, but it's very easy for me to just kind of pick up, the way when sometimes when your kids are little and they're just not walking very fast and they're kind of overwhelmed, and instead of, telling them how to do something, it's easier to just pick them up and carry them to the car. Yeah. So that's kind of what I do. I'm just kind of a nurturing presence. I'm like, you don't have to worry about that. I know exactly where we're going. And so you can just allow me to carry you, and everything's going to be okay. We're going to go on to our first caller, who has been waiting. And just before we do that, just in case we run out of time, can you just let everybody know how they could get in contact with you? Should they want to find out more or book a session with you? Yes. So I just recently started. I'm on Facebook. You can always contact me, Stephanie R. Kogarth on Facebook. On Facebook also, and it will shortly be on YouTube, I just started a weekly program with Benoit Gugliani, and it's called Connecting on Facebook also. And every week we go on, we do a group energy clearing, and we're also both available for private sessions. We talk about a different topic, and then we clear for that topic. So it's a real good bargain. If you want to, also I've got a blog, and if you are interested in what I do, I encourage you to go read the blog. It's theascensionarc.blog. And and contact me at Facebook. So private sessions are available by contacting me on Facebook or connecting on Facebook. Wonderful. Okay, so let's go straight on to our first caller. This is Arminia from Toronto. What is it? Arminia, I think. Arminia, are you there?
Okay, we're just going to try and get her back, or see if there's anybody else that wants to come through.
Okay.
So in the meantime, what I'd like to quickly ask you is, when did you first realise that you had these abilities?
Oh, I have always been telepathic with animals, and I have always been a natural channel, but there was a distinct monumental turning point in 2013. I had a full-blown Kundalini awakening that I was not expecting, didn't know anything about. I was an energy healer. I was a, multimodality energy healer, etc. And I'd been studying psychic development, but I met my twin flame in 2013, or at least the very least a catalyst twin. And it sparked a Kundalini awakening that was so unexpected. I thought I had been hit by lightning. I knew that somehow it wasn't lightning, but I thought it was lightning. And the energy shot up I thought I'd been hit. It was the top of my head, but there was this explosion. And, they say when your Kundalini rises or goes all the way to the top, and you have a complete circuit, and the drop became the ocean. And my own experience was extremely traumatic. I remembered all of my past lives, and it was my experience was horrible.
Okay, we have got Erminia back, so let's welcome her in, and hopefully we'll be able to finish off the rest of your sort of awakening story shortly. Erminia, are you there? Are you with us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I am. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. I'm going to pass you straight over to Stephanie, who's going to do your reading for you. Is there anything in particular you would like Stephanie to look at, please?
Mostly just health and work.
Okay. Have you got that, Stephanie?
Health. She said health and work?
Yes, that's right.
So one of the things that I know, I'm sorry, I wiggle a work. The energy comes through and I can't hold still. One of the things that I see that is true not only for you, but it's true for every single person listening to these words. My words are reaching you right now. It is no coincidence at all that we've all been brought here together at the same time. Your question is true on some level for every single person hearing this word, and you are getting an energetic transmission if you can hear this right now. There is a specific up-leveling that is happening now that has to do with moving out of our previous comfort zones. It's happening to absolutely everyone, but particularly for the group that is hearing this, there's an old level of, this is affecting both your health and your work, because your previous comfort zones, I should say our previous comfort zones, is moving from a place of what we've always done, and it's being mandated by the universe that we all up-level and take on a greater degree of responsibility, both for ourselves and others, but it's more about service. We're moving into a where it's less about promoting ourselves, and not that there's anything wrong with it, because self-care is always essential. But it is the first thing that you do is take care of yourself. The next level is about taking care of yourself and taking individual responsibility for caring for others. And it's going to require all of us to step up into a greater degree of personal responsibility for the well-being of others. So what you're going to be, and your health is going to be dramatically improved as soon as you make this shift. That's true not just of you, it's true of the portion of you where the sickness lies is the portion of the individual, and it's kind of like old patterns that are being held in stasis. So as soon as you're willing to drop all of that crap, you can bring in the new light frequencies where health is automatic. A lot of this stuff, when you up level, and right now, actually, I'm being shown that we can clear that. What happens is we clear it on an energetic level first, and everything moves from at the energetic level into form. It descends into form. So if we can clear the energetic level, the form, the experience that you have in manifestation is going to be cleared automatically. Excuse me, you want to be here, do you? I'm sorry, my bird is now on my hand. She wants to say something. So let's just go ahead and, I'm just going to go ahead and clear that briefly right now. This is going to happen automatically. You may or may not feel anything. This is also going to happen for every single person hearing these words. I'm just going to give this to angels and I'm just going to let them clear it so that I don't lose linear language. And I'm going to hook up everyone who's listening right now, I'm hooking up our breath to a evergreen clearing cycle so that as you breathe in and out, you don't have to think about it. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Every single time you breathe in and out on an ongoing basis, your energy is going to be refreshed and cleared. This is also happening without even you thinking about it. Your job now is to say, how can I make a better difference in the world? How can I serve? What change do I wish to engender? And the clearing is going to just be done on your behalf. The only caveat is that if you stop it and say, how can I serve myself? Then the clearing stops. The gifts are going to come in direct ratio to the degree to which you are in service. That's really important to understand.
Okay, thank you so much, Amelia. I hope that has made sense for you. I'm going to thank you for joining the show. We are almost at the end of our show as well, so thank you very much to Stephanie. I do hope you will join us again. And can you just remind the viewers and the listeners of how they can contact you, please?
Yes, it's Stephanie R. Hogarth on Facebook. You can also go to theascensionarc.blog if you want to read my blog. I talk a lot about interdimensional communication there. You can also contact me at Facebook on the show Connecting, because I've got a weekly show there with healer Benoit Bouliani.
Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much. If you do want a reading with me, you can get through to me on www.modern-mystic.co.uk. It's been an absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed this evening, and I shall see you the same time next week. Goodbye for now.